Assalamu alaikum. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. This is Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4, which is found in the Old Testament, otherwise known as the Hebrew Bible. Today we're exploring Judaism, one of the oldest monotheistic religions in the world. And it begins with a powerful idea. What if your purpose is not just belief, but living in a covenant with God? What is Judaism? Judaism is an ancient faith dating back nearly 4,000 years. It's rooted in the lives of prophets like Abraham, Moses, and so forth. At its core, Judaism is based on a covenant, which is like a special relationship between God and the people of Israel. Now, if we look at the Torah is known as the first 5 books of Moses. It describes, in the book of Genesis, it says, I will establish my covenant between me and you. Genesis 17 verse 7. This covenant shapes not just belief, but how life is lived. At its core, Judaism believes in one absolute God, very similar to Islam and Christianity, no partners or equals, a strong focus on law, ethics, and community. So God in Judaism is seen as a creator, he's seen as a lawgiver, a judge, and human life is about obedience, justice, and righteousness. And so, for example, in Exodus 20 verse 3, you shall have no other gods before me. Now, this strict monotheism has a very strong parallel with Islam. That concept of Tawheed is very much similar in the case of Judaism. There are laws and commandments, and these are scattered throughout the books of the first 5 books of Moses. Deuteronomy 11:22, you shall be careful to do all these commands. There are hundreds of these commands, right? So there are dietary laws, behavioral laws, civil laws, ceremonial laws, all types of different laws that are found within the Tanakh. So the Tanakh is the Hebrew Bible. This is the primary scripture for Jews. So the Hebrew Bible, which includes the Torah, which is the law, the prophets, the writings, poetry, the wisdom. So the first 5 books of Moses, this is the most central. It includes key teachings like the 10 Commandments given to Moses, alongside scripture, Jewish tradition, and then we have also within Judaism the Talmud, which is interpretations of the law. So Judaism believes in life after death, but it's not as central or detailed as in other religions. But the Torah focuses more on how you live now rather than a detailed afterlife descriptions, although there are references and passages that do talk about this. It does not focus too much on them. So Judaism has today several major branches. First of all, Orthodox Judaism, which follows a traditional Jewish law, seeing the Torah strictly following the commandments and fully binding. And number 2, a conservative Judaism, which keeps tradition but allows for some adaptation over time, a little bit of leniency here and there based on the circumstances. And thirdly, Reform Judaism, which emphasizes on ethics and personal interpretation, which is more flexible with traditional laws. So the simple takeaway here is that all these different groups agree on one God, the importance of the Torah, Jewish identity, and community differences mainly come from how strictly you're to follow the law, how to adapt to the modern world. So in its heart, Judaism teaches to worship God, one God, live according to the divine law, uphold justice and righteousness, fulfill your covenant with God. It's a faith built less on abstract belief and more on living a disciplined, ethical life. Now, from a Muslim perspective, Muslims recognize the Torah as a revealed scripture, and it honors the prophets that are contained in the Torah, such as Musa, alayhi salam, Abraham, Solomon, David, and so forth. So the Quran says, indeed, we sent down the Torah, in which was guidance and light, Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:44. However, the Quran distinguishes between original revelation that Allah has revealed, such as the Torah and the Injil, which are the original revelations given to the prophets, and what we have today, which will be the compilations of the Old and the New Testament. Now, although they contain remnants of that original revelation, Islamic position holds that they do not contain the complete revelation, the complete truthfulness of certain stories and lessons and actions of the prophets. So Islam sees itself as a continuation and a final clarification of that same message, restoring pure monotheism. And like Judaism, Islam emphasizes law, worship, and ethical living, and it is aligned with the Islamic theme. So Judaism leaves us with this question. If faith is shown through obedience, are you truly living in submission to God?